Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about jQuery, and today is really just going to be kind of a introduction and really is just kind of for me to warm up to introducing jQuery. So if you're into web development and you already know HTML and maybe a little bit of JavaScript, jQuery is actually a really useful web development tool. As soon as I saw the things you could do with it, I was immediately wanted to figure out a way to incorporate it into my web page. You can pretty much take a static HTML document and just make it so dynamic. Some of the things you can do, one of the things I've done is I have this HTML page here and I have a bit of jQuery incorporated into it, and I have these different tabs here, and if you click on any of these, some more information will drop down. So let's go ahead and click on this one, and as you can see we have some we have blah blah blah, which of course you would have more useful information that goes there, but just as an example, that's what I put for now. But this is really nice if you want to be able to organize information on your web page. You can just have these simple tabs and have it drop down. You don't just have all this information on one page. So today what we're going to do is just kind of go over the syntax for jQuery and how to use it with HTML. And then in later tutorials we'll really just start learning how to code from the ground up. But at the moment I have some code, some HTML code that's already been typed out. So as you can see, we got a pretty standard HTML document here. Right here is where the main body starts, and I have these 3 div tags set up. And so let's just these are the different tabs with the information. And so let's just go ahead and look at this top one. As you can see, it's got the class header, and the background is red, so we're looking at this one here, this part right here. And inside all of this you can see I have the tab 1, and we also have another div tag, and this is where the information goes. This is where we saw that blah blah blah, and that has the class of slider. Now you're going to see in a moment why I put the classes there. And also some inline HTML, inline CSS. I was too lazy to make another CSS file. And then we got the paragraph here. So it's the same for these two, except for it just says tab 2 and tab 3 instead, and then they're different colors. So let's go ahead and look at what powers the capability of being able to have those slide, and that would be the jQuery code, which I have right here. Now I just put this in the HTML document just because it was a little bit of code, but if you get more, you'll probably want to make a separate JavaScript file for that. So let's look at this first line here. Actually, I already have some code written here. Let's just go ahead and start from new so I can explain it. jQuery likes to use this kind of format for their objects. So we have the $, open parentheses, close parentheses. Inside the parentheses is what we will put. We'll put like let me do document first. That's for the HTML document. And what this does is it takes that and now makes it a jQuery object. So we also have, with that, we have attributes like ready. And so this one line here is a jQuery command. All this is saying is whenever the HTML document is loaded and ready, what we can do is we can start manipulating it. We can start making changes to it. Now, right now as it is, we don't have we don't have any changes being made because that would go in this area here. So what we would want to do is, this is kind of like where it follows the format of JavaScript. So we would do function, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then open curly brace, closed curly brace. Now, where our actual code is going to go is right in here, right in between the open and closed curly brace. And really, we're always going to have kind of this format here where we're like, okay, well, whenever the document's ready, then I want to be able to make changes to it. So what we can do to make changes is go through the HTML document and find what we want to manipulate. In this case, we have, so whenever it initially loads, it'll look like this. But whenever our user first goes to our website, we don't want them to be looking at this. We want all of these tabs to be closed. And so what we want to do is call some jQuery functions. So what we do here is we need to go through and make sure that all of these div tags with the class of slider, they need to be up. They need to be hidden so that we can't see the blah blah blah. So what we can do is make a jQuery object and let it find anything that has the class of slider. Okay, so we've turned that into a jQuery object. It's going to go through, find anything with the class of slider, and what we want to do, and so we're using the dot because we're going to be using a jQuery method. So we want to say slideUp. And so right there, that's a jQuery function. Now what you can do is you can go through the documentation on jQuery's website, and let's see if they have it here. Yep. Okay, so you can see the different methods you have, the different effects, and so we can make objects slide up, we can make them slide down. I don't know if they have an example on here. No. Okay, so you can see that whenever we click on that, it makes it slide. And so that's I mean, that's really neat. If you were to code that in JavaScript, that would take you quite a bit, I'd imagine. Okay, so now we have them all in the have them hidden because we've made them slide up. Now what we want to do is if this header part here is clicked on, we want it to slide down. We want it to reveal this information area. So what we then need to do is turn anything that has the class name of header, and if that is clicked on, then we want it to slide down. So there's another method for jQuery called click. So whenever the user clicks on it, we want to have another function that will go ahead and take that and make and reveal the information. So again, we got to do function and then the open bracket, close bracket, and we need to put the close parentheses on there and semicolon. So let's go ahead and just press enter here to make this look nicer. And so we want to, let's see how I have it set up in here. Okay, as you can see here, I used this. Now, this is just, if you're familiar with like C++, you know that this is whatever, where there's a pointer pointing to the event. It's similar here where the user clicked on a header. So that's what it's pointing to, is the class of header. And so what we want to do is say, okay, well, take this, and so we're making that into a jQuery object, and we want to get the child of it, because as you can see, it's at the header, so right here, and we want to get the child, and we want it to find the class of slider right here, because we want to go ahead and toggle that so it will slide down. So I just will do children, and then what we want to find goes in the parentheses. So the class, we want it to find that class of slider, and then we want it to, let's just do slide down, and there we go. Now what that will do, actually I used slideToggle. slideToggle makes more sense because say that we click on it, and we click on it again. Every time we click on it, it's not going to go back up, it's just going to stay down. So instead of doing slide down, I do slideToggle. So if it's already down, then it'll go back up the next time it's clicked, and then same thing, if it's clicked, it'll go down since it's already up. So that's just kind of a introduction into the syntax and semantics of jQuery. I know it was kind of bad, but I'm just kind of warming up to explaining it, and I'm still kind of learning it and getting familiar with it. But it's a very neat tool, and this looks terrible right here, but you can you know, once you get some CSS code in there to format it the way you want and make it look the way you want, you can definitely do some neat stuff with it. So hopefully the upcoming tutorials will be a little bit better, and if you don't know like HTML and other web development languages, hopefully later on down the road I can do some tutorials on that. But for now, that concludes this tutorial. I hope to see you in the next.